Most people don't fail because they are weak. They fail because they make one promise to themselves in the morning, then negotiate with their weakness by night. You don't need more motivation. You need to stop treating your own word like it is optional, because every time you say, I'll start tomorrow, something inside you stops trusting you. Every time you quit when nobody is watching, your future becomes a little heavier. And the dangerous part is this: one broken promise does not look serious. One skipped day does not look dangerous. One excuse does not look like destruction. But slowly, quietly, without noise, you become the person who cannot depend on himself. And when that happens, no goal can save you. No plan can save you. No inspiration can save you. So listen carefully. Consistency is not about being perfect every day. It is about returning before your weakness becomes your identity. Most people do not lose because life is too hard. They lose because they negotiate with themselves too easily. You say you want to change, but every morning your old self is already awake before you. It whispers, not today, later, tomorrow. When you feel better, when the timing is right, and because the voice is familiar, you believe it. You call it rest, you call it mood, you call it pressure. But deep inside, you know the truth. You are not tired of the task. You are tired of meeting the version of yourself who keeps breaking promises. Consistency is not built when you are inspired. Inspiration is a visitor. It comes, it goes, it knocks softly, and sometimes it never arrives. Discipline is different. Discipline is the one who enters the room even when nobody invited it. Discipline does not ask, do you feel ready? Discipline asks, what did you decide when your mind was clear? Listen carefully. The person who stays consistent does not have a different sun, a different clock, a different body, or a different world. They simply stop making their feelings the master of their actions. They still feel resistance. They still feel doubt. They still feel heaviness in the bones when the morning is cold and the mind is noisy. But they do not bow to every feeling that appears. They bow only to the path. And this is where most people misunderstand consistency. They think consistency means never falling. No, consistency means you stop turning one fall into a whole season of defeat. One missed day becomes two becomes a week becomes your identity. Then you say, this is just who I am. No, this is not who you are. This is what you repeated until it became familiar. A person becomes what they return to, not what they dream about, not what they post, not what they tell others they are planning. You become what you return to after the excitement fades, after the applause dies, after nobody checks on you, after the pain becomes boring, after the goal is no longer new. What you return to is what you worship. If you return to distraction, distraction becomes your temple. If you return to excuses, excuses become your teacher. If you return to your practice, even with trembling hands, even with an imperfect mind, even with a tired body, then practice becomes your home. You do not need to become superhuman. This is another lie that weak people tell themselves so they can escape responsibility. They look at the consistent person and say, they are different, they are gifted, they have more motivation. But motivation is not the root. Identity is the root. The consistent person has decided, I am someone who does what must be done, especially when it is inconvenient. That one sentence can rebuild a life. Do not ask, how do I stay motivated? That question already makes you a servant of emotion. Ask, what kind of person would I respect if I had to live with myself every day? Because you do live with yourself every day. You cannot escape your own witness. You can fool the world with words, images, excuses, and smiles. But when the room is silent, when the phone is down, When your head touches the pillow, you know whether you honored yourself or betrayed yourself. Self-respect is not created by thinking highly of yourself. Self-respect is created by evidence. Every small promise kept becomes evidence. Every small promise broken becomes evidence too. Your mind is always watching. Your spirit is always recording. You cannot tell yourself you are disciplined while living like someone who obeys every craving. The body listens to repetition, not intention. This is why the first battle is never outside. It is inside the moment between impulse and action. The alarm rings. In that tiny moment, your future is watching. The work becomes difficult. In that tiny moment, your future is watching. Someone doubts you. In that tiny moment, your future is watching. You feel unseen, unappreciated, unmotivated. In that tiny moment, your future is watching. Every life is shaped by moments so small that most people ignore them. But the small moments are the gates. Pass through enough of them with courage, and the large doors begin to open. Consistency is not a giant step. It is the refusal to abandon the next small step. You want a secret. Here is one that most people will reject because it is too simple. Make the promise small enough that your pride cannot turn it into theater. People fail because they build promises for the person they wish they were, not the person they actually practice being. They say, from tomorrow I will wake at 5, train for 2 hours, read 50 pages, eat perfectly, work deeply, meditate, and transform my life. This is not discipline. This is emotional intoxication. Then the next day comes and the body refuses. The mind resists. The schedule attacks. The mood changes. And because the promise was too heavy, they drop it completely. Then they say, I lack consistency. No, you lack honesty. Start where you are, not where your ego wants to be seen. If you cannot train for 1 hour, train for 10 minutes. If you cannot read 50 pages, read 2. If you cannot meditate for 30 minutes, sit still for 3. If you cannot clean the whole room, clean 1 corner. But do it with full presence. Do it without drama. Do it without announcing it to the world. Do it like a person laying 1 stone in the foundation of a temple. The stone may look small, but without small stones, no temple stands. The ego hates small beginnings because small beginnings do not impress people. But your future is not built by impressing people. It is built by repeating what strengthens you. Do not confuse intensity with consistency. Intensity is easy for 1 day. Anyone can burn loudly for a moment. Anger can make you work hard for 1 day. Shame can make you train hard for 1 week. Jealousy can push you for a month. But these fires destroy the one who depends on them. Consistency is not a wild flame. It is a quiet lamp that refuses to go out. Protect the lamp. You protect it by making your practice non-negotiable. Not dramatic, non-negotiable. There is a difference. Drama says, look how hard this is. Discipline says, this is what I do. Drama wants sympathy. Discipline wants silence. Drama needs an audience. Discipline grows in hidden places. Look at bamboo. For a long time, nothing appears above the soil. A foolish person says, nothing is happening. But beneath the ground, roots are spreading with patience. Then one day, growth becomes visible, and people call it sudden. Nothing about it was sudden. The sudden moment was paid for by invisible repetition. Your life is the same. People see your result, but they do not see the private mornings, the resisted cravings, the lonely repetitions, the conversations you refused, the distractions you denied, the comfort you sacrificed, the excuses you buried before they became words. They do not see the roots, and because they do not see the roots, they misunderstand the tree. Do not live for the applause of people who only arrive when the fruit appears. live for the roots. Consistency becomes easier when you stop asking life to feel good before you do good. Many people are trapped because they wait for emotional permission. They want confidence before action. They want clarity before commitment. They want energy before movement. They want certainty before effort. But the order is often reversed. Action creates confidence. Commitment creates clarity. Movement creates energy. Effort creates certainty. You are waiting for the door to open while the key is already in your hand. Begin before you feel ready. Begin while your mind argues. Begin while your emotions complain. Begin while your old habits shout. You do not need to silence every inner voice before you act. You only need to stop obeying the weakest one. The weak voice says, "This is uncomfortable." The deeper voice says, "This is necessary." The weak voice says, "You deserve a break." The deeper voice says, "You deserve to become trustworthy." The weak voice says, "Nobody will know." The deeper voice says, "I will know." And the one who knows is enough. You must understand this clearly. Consistency for yourself is different from consistency for others. When you perform for others, you can borrow their attention. You can feed on their praise. You can be pushed by their expectations. But when you are consistent for yourself, you are alone with your standard. No audience, no reward, no guarantee. Only the quiet question, will I honor what I said I would do? This is where real strength is born, not in public victory, not in loud declarations, not in the moment when people clap. Strength is born when nobody is watching and you choose the harder right over the easier wrong. Strength is born when you could escape, but you stay. Strength is born when the old pattern opens its arms and you walk past it without turning your head. Stop making your consistency dependent on ideal conditions. Ideal conditions are a fantasy. There will always be noise. There will always be people who misunderstand you. There will always be days when the body is heavy. There will always be work, family, stress, delays, mistakes, and unexpected problems. If your consistency survives only in perfect conditions, then it is not consistency, it is decoration. A tree that stands only when there is no wind has no roots. Do the practice in the wind. Do it when the day is messy. Do it when your schedule changes. Do it when you cannot do it perfectly. This is important. Perfectionism is one of the most polished excuses. It wears the clothes of high standards, but often it is fear. Fear of looking foolish, fear of starting small, fear of being ordinary at the beginning. So you wait until you can do everything perfectly, and while you wait, your life passes. Imperfect action repeated beats perfect intention delayed. Do not worship the perfect routine. Worship the return. When you miss, return. When you fall, return. When you lose focus, return. When you feel ashamed, return. When you think you ruined everything, return. The return is the muscle. The return is the training. The return is the difference between the person who grows and the person who only regrets. Regret is heavy because it is the weight of unused power. You feel regret not only because you failed. You feel regret because something inside you knows you were capable of more honesty. You were capable of one more step. You were capable of less negotiation. You were capable of beginning. Regret is painful because it shows you the distance between your potential and your pattern. Do not drown in regret. Use it as a bell. When the bell rings, wake up. Do not say, I have wasted too much time. This sentence is another trap. The time is gone, yes, but the lesson remains. Take the lesson, leave the shame. Shame can start movement, but it cannot guide a life. A person moved only by shame will eventually collapse. You must build from respect, not hatred. Do not be consistent because you hate yourself. Be consistent because you refuse to abandon yourself again. There is a difference. Hatred says, I am worthless unless I achieve. Respect says, because I am responsible for my life, I will act with dignity. Hatred punishes. Respect trains. Hatred creates obsession. Respect creates devotion. Hatred burns the body. Respect sharpens the spirit. If you want consistency that lasts, stop attacking yourself and start leading yourself. A leader does not scream at the soldier every morning. A leader gives direction. A leader removes confusion. A leader creates order. A leader understands weakness without allowing weakness to rule. You must become the leader of your own inner world. Right now, many people are not led by their highest self. They are led by appetite, fear, comparison, memory, and mood. No wonder they feel scattered. Their inner kingdom has no ruler. Sit with yourself and ask plainly, what is the one practice that, if repeated, would change the direction of my life? Not 10 practices, one. The undisciplined mind loves complexity because complexity gives it places to hide. It creates endless plans, systems, notebooks, apps, schedules, and visions. Then it becomes tired before doing the simple thing. Complexity can become another form of avoidance. You do not need a beautiful plan if you cannot obey a simple one. Choose one practice and protect it like a sacred flame. Maybe it is waking when you said you would wake. Maybe it is 30 minutes of focused work. Maybe it is training the body. Maybe it is reading. Maybe it is prayer. Maybe it is silence. Maybe it is studying. Maybe it is creating. Maybe it is refusing the habit that keeps stealing your strength. Choose the practice that points you toward the person you keep claiming you want to become. Then make it visible. Put it where your eyes can see it. Track it. Not because tracking is magic, but because the mind respects what is measured. A day marked honestly is a mirror, and you need mirrors, not fantasies. Do not trust memory. Memory protects the ego. Evidence tells the truth. If you did it, mark it. If you did not, mark that too. Do not lie to yourself. Lying to yourself is spiritual poverty. It makes you weak at the root. You cannot build a strong life on hidden dishonesty, but be careful. Do not turn tracking into vanity. The mark is not the goal. The mark is only a witness. The goal is transformation of character. You are not collecting days. You are becoming someone who can be trusted with a future. And when you begin, expect resistance. Do not be surprised by it. Resistance is not a sign that you should stop. Resistance is proof that you have reached the border of your old identity. The old self does not die quietly. It will bargain. It will complain. It will bring memories of past failures. It will say, you have tried before. You always quit. It will try to make the future kneel before the past. Do not argue with it. Move. You do not defeat the old self by debating it. You defeat it by starving it of obedience. Every time the old pattern calls and you do not answer, it loses authority. Every time you choose the practice over the impulse, the old self becomes less believable. One day, what used to control you will still speak, but its voice will feel distant. It will sound like someone outside the gate. This is freedom. Freedom is not doing whatever you feel. That is slavery with better marketing. Freedom is having the power to choose what is right, even when feelings pull you elsewhere. A person who cannot say no to himself is not free. He is owned by every craving that visits. He may speak of freedom, but he is dragged by invisible chains. Consistency breaks the chains one link at a time. The first link is your morning. How you begin the day teaches your mind who is in command. If the first act of the day is surrender, the rest of the day must fight uphill. If the first act is discipline, even small discipline, you create momentum. This does not mean your morning must be perfect. It means your morning must contain one act of self-command. Rise when you said you would rise. Drink water, make the bed. Sit in silence, stretch, breathe. Write the one thing that must be done. Begin before the world enters your mind. Do not give your first attention to the noise of other people. Your attention is your life force. Stop donating it to strangers before you have given any to your own path. Many people wake and immediately enter the marketplace of comparison. They look at other lives, other bodies, other success, other faces, other opinions. Before their feet touch the ground, their mind is already scattered. Then they wonder why they cannot stay consistent. You cannot stay consistent when your attention is being stolen every morning. Guard the first gate. The second link is your environment. Do not pretend you are stronger than the room you keep building around yourself. If your environment feeds your weakness all day, you will spend your life fighting unnecessary battles. A serious person does not rely only on willpower. A serious person designs conditions that make the right action easier and the wrong action harder. Remove what repeatedly defeats you. Place near you what repeatedly strengthens you. Keep the book visible. Keep the phone away during deep work. Prepare your clothes before training. Put the unhealthy food out of reach. Clean the space where you create. Silence notifications. Choose people who do not laugh at your growth. Your environment is either a temple or a trap. Build carefully. Do not say, I should be able to resist anything. This is arrogance disguised as strength. Even the strongest warrior respects the battlefield. If you know a place, person, habit, or object weakens your discipline, stop pretending it is harmless. You are not being mature by staying close to what keeps pulling you backward. You are being careless with your future. The third link is your speech. Words are not light things. Every time you say, I will, and then you do not, your words lose weight. Eventually, even you stop believing yourself. This is dangerous. When your own word becomes empty to you, your inner structure collapses. So speak less, promise less, declare less, and fulfill more. Do not tell everyone what you are going to become. Become it quietly. Let the results speak after the roots have done their work. When you speak too early, you spend the emotional reward before you pay the price. The mind receives praise for an identity it has not earned, and the hunger weakens. This is why many people announce transformation and then disappear. They already tasted the applause. They no longer want the labor. Keep your practice private until it becomes stable. There is power in hidden work. Hidden work teaches you to love the process without needing witnesses. Hidden work purifies the intention. Hidden work reveals whether you truly want growth or only want to be seen as someone who is growing. Ask yourself honestly, would I still do this if nobody ever clapped? If the answer is no, then you do not yet love the path. You love the image. That is not evil, but it is fragile. Image cannot carry you through pain. Image cannot wake you on hard mornings. Image cannot hold you when progress is invisible. Only devotion can. Devotion is consistency with the soul. It is not blind repetition. It is remembering why the repetition matters. You are not just doing push-ups. You are training your relationship with resistance. You are not just reading pages. You are training attention. You are not just saving money. You are training patience. You are not just studying. You are training your ability to build a future instead of begging life to rescue you. When the meaning becomes clear, the action becomes lighter. But meaning must be revisited. The mind forgets. That is why you must return not only to the practice, but to the reason. Write your reason down. Speak it to yourself when you are tempted to quit. Not in a soft, sentimental way, in a clear way. I do this because I am tired of betraying myself. I do this because my family does not need my excuses. They need my strength. I do this because my future deserves evidence. I do this because the pain of discipline is cleaner than the pain of regret. The pain of discipline is clean. It strengthens what it touches. The pain of regret is dirty. It spreads into sleep, mood, relationships, and self-respect. Both paths contain pain. Do not be childish and ask for a path without pain. There is no such path. The question is not, how do I avoid pain? The question is, which pain will make me free? Choose the pain that leaves you stronger. Consistency also requires patience with invisible results. This is where many people break. They do the right thing for a few days and immediately look for proof. Why am I not changed yet? Why is my body not different? Why is my mind still restless? Why has life not rewarded me? This is the impatience of a child planting a seed and digging it up every morning to see if it has grown. Leave the seed alone. Water it. Your task is not to control the harvest. Your task is to honor the conditions. You do the work. You repeat the practice. You adjust when needed. You stay honest. Growth happens beneath the surface before it becomes visible. The body changes before the mirror shows it. The mind changes before the world notices it. Character changes before circumstances obey it. Do not measure too soon. Do not quit too early. Most people quit at the most dangerous point, after the excitement dies, but before the evidence appears. This is the valley. In the beginning, energy is high because the idea is new. Later, results are visible and motivation returns. But between these two places, there is a dry land. The work feels ordinary. The progress feels slow. The old self tempts you. Nobody notices. This dry land decides everything. Cross the dry land. Do not look for entertainment there. Do not demand comfort there. Do not ask the path to keep proving itself every hour. Walk. One step, then another, then another. The person who crosses the dry land becomes rare because most people turn back and call it wisdom. They say, maybe this is not for me. No. Often it was for you, but you wanted fruit before roots. You cannot rush roots. There will be days when consistency looks like fire. You will feel strong, clear, unstoppable. Use those days, but do not trust them too much. There will be days when consistency looks like one tired action done badly, but honestly. Respect those days even more. They are the days that build identity. Anyone can act when the wind is behind them. The real training begins when the wind pushes against your chest.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit subscribe and like our content.